So there's no way for me to give you like what says on the back cover because it's not on the back cover. So Wedding on Lavender Hill by Annie Raines. Claire Donovan is an event planner on her way to meet her biggest client, Pearson Matthews. But Emma St. James asked if she was at her dining place to meet somebody today, and she's says, "Well, I'm meeting someone today. Yes, indeed, with Pearson's Matthews." And little does she know that Pearson is detained and sent his son instead, Beau Matthews, who has a history with Claire. Now, Beau informs Claire the wedding has been moved up between his soon-to-be stepmom and his dad. And since there's a baby to be born, finding that they brainstorm about location, wind up using Beau's house on Lavender Hill. Now it says Donna start sharing passages. So we're going to start sharing passages. Page 337. Here we go. Find the thing. There it is. This is Beau and Claire talking. They're talking first about how crazy it is for such an age gap difference of his dad and this Rebecca person who's going to have his stepbrother to be involved. And she's like defending Rebecca. She likes her as a person because she's the one who originally wanted to plan the wedding with her before the pregnancy. So she's like, love is crazy that way. Okay. He goes, it's just hard to fathom that a 28-year-old woman would want to marry a 50-year-old man. Love is crazy that way. It doesn't let you choose who you fall in love with. True enough, maybe if you did, it would turn out a whole lot better. Have you ever been in love, he asked. And it had been almost, they talked about that night last spring, but that topic hadn't come up until now. How do you know the difference? Well, she said, chewing on her thoughts, infatuation fades. Love survives, even after you know about all the other person's faults. Sometimes knowing the faults makes you like them more. This is not a personal experience talking, of course. I'm talking as an event planner who has worked with countless couples in love. I've seen couples crumble. Hold on. It's hard to do this. Under the pressure of big events, and I've seen other couples come out stronger. He wore an unreadable expression on his face. I guess I could say I have seen the same in my line of work. Making plans for a house you want to grow old in can be as stressful as it is exciting. Couples have torn into each other in the process right in front of me. At those times, I almost am glad that my ex walked away from me. He sat back in his chair. That just meant I got to plan the home of my dreams, all by myself and no drama needed. And, just a time out here. I got to put these things on, my readers, which I'm supposed to have on all the time. Why do men always consider dealing with a woman drama? There's a thought to ponder. Page 339. So good that you never spoke to me again. We didn't sleep together, Claire. Why are you so mad at me? She slammed her paper plate and the napkin in the trash, and then she whipped around and looked at him. Is that what defines whether a guy calls the next morning? Sex? I asked that question. Forget everything. I have work to do, and so do you. On page 344. He climbed down off the ladder and faced her. I've got a proposition for you. I'll go with you to meet your caterer and look at the flowers if you have dinner with me tonight. And like any normal woman, she's jumping to the wrong conclusion. She blinked him into focus. You mean a date? No. She swallowed up and looked at the lights he'd hung, pretending to assess the job. Why had her mind immediately jumped to the conclusion that he was asking her out on a date? If he was going to do that, he would have last spring. Why do you want me to have dinner with you? I'm meeting a potential client and his wife. It is a social as much as business, and I hate doing these things alone. So yes, I guess then I would see you as a date, but it isn't personal, she said with a nod. Fair enough. She just jutted out her hand, and they made a deal. Okay, page 347. Can you tell I liked this book a lot? um, it wasn't a date, he said so himself, but her heart hadn't received the message because it stopped for a brief second every time he looked at her. Ah! He opened the driver's side door and then stared at her for a long, breathless second. And then he said, "See you tonight," basically. Okay, page 353. They're talking about exes. And she's like, "I saw Liz and Mike. You were fixated over there for a moment at dinner." She saw the muscles in his jawline tighten. "They didn't stay long, thankfully." "Is it hard to see them together?" "A little," he admitted. "Not because I still love her. Just knowing that they did things behind my back. Trust isn't an easy thing to repair." He sucked in a deep breath. "All for the greater good, I guess. They have a baby on the way, from what I hear." Claire had heard the same. She reached the hand across the car and touched his shoulder, wanting to offer comfort. The touch zinged through her body. She hadn't touched the man since last spring. She had made a point not to. Now she felt this hard muscle at her fingertips, and her body answered. Okay, page 363 is where we're going next. As Claire walked out of the coffee shop, she felt lighter. Maybe her mom wouldn't let her down again, but there was also the possibility that she wouldn't this time. Claire had always been an optimist. She never wanted to lose hope that things could change for the better. There was no hope for Beau changing his mind about love and romance, though. No matter how much her heart protested that maybe, just maybe, there was. Page 364. Love didn't let you choose. He understood that Claire had meant by that by now because he was falling hard and fast for sweet, smart, gorgeous event planner. How the heck am I going to get to fix things with her? Now he's on the right track. How is he going to fix things with her? Not many men are that stand up these days, so I've got to give him props for that. Okay, page 366. "I need to talk to you. There's been a problem." She whipped her head around to face him. "What kind of problem?" "Rebecca's in labor and the wedding's been called off." "What?" Claire's lungs contracted as if the wind had been knocked out of her. "But she wants to be married by the time the baby comes. She needs to get here." "I just spoke to Dad. Rebecca's water broke when she was putting on her wedding dress." He grimaced. "It's not going to happen tonight. They can do it after the baby's born. She can buy a new dress, and she can have it anywhere or any way she wants." And then she's questioning whether he wants the wedding to happen. After all, it's only going to be a stepmom to him. And so he's like, Beau reached for Claire's hand. "You've never let a client down, right? Why start now? You don't even believe your father and Rebecca should be together. Why are you doing this?" "Maybe I see things differently because of you." "Ah, be still my heart. They just don't make men like this. This is why women live in these books and they watch Hallmark movies, because men like this do not exist." Okay? But in these nice little books, they give us hope. They give us compassion, and they give us foresight to see that maybe, just maybe, way down deep, which is sometimes a canyon, there is a heart in the soul of a man. And it's so good that you see the good and not the bad, just like the book says. But anyway, back to the book. Page 369. "I'm sorry, I guess weddings hold as many bad memories for you as hospitals do for me. I used to think that I never want to go to another wedding again. But there's nowhere I'd rather be tonight than at this one with you." Her heart fluttered. "Same, even if it's at a hospital." They stopped behind Rebecca's door, and Claire knocked softly. Ah, these two are just killing me. They just love each other so dang much. And he proves it, because every time she thinks she's ruined it or that he's going to walk away, he just comes back and he proves us all wrong. And it's like, oh, you are a dreamboat. Just like my Ryan Pavey. Should have seen him Saturday night. Woo-wee. That was a good Hallmark movie if I haven't told you all lately. Okay, back to the book. "I like you, Claire Donovan. I liked you last spring, but I was a coward. I'll admit that." "Sounds about right," she agreed. I thought that was perfect. Because most men are scared to admit that they're a coward, let alone how they truly feel. Okay, page 377. A candlelight dinner under the stars, which if y'all watched the Hallmark movie, they had a lot of that going on, and it was good. Stargazing. Ooh, it was wonderful. She turned and stepped into him, wrapping her arms around his neck and staring into his eyes. All this to celebrate 1 month of being together. He leaned in and kissed her lips slow and soft. Nothing in her life had ever felt so right as being with him. No, all this to tell you that I love you, Claire Donovan. I love you so much. She blinked him into focus. A man never uttered those words to her before, but they were music to her ears. She wanted to hear them again and again. I love you too, Bo Matthews. She laughed as she pulled her... I can't even read tonight. She laughed as he pulled her in for another kiss under the starry night sky. Then they had a dinner and shared a dance before retreating to his room, where he repeated those 3 little words again and again. And again. Only men like that exist in these kind of books and movies. I wish to God they existed in real life. But if you ever find a man who can admit his fault, who can come to you and say, you know what, I don't give a hoot about what happened in your past or your present, as long as I'm in your future. That's the kind of man you want in your life. You don't want a man that's going to hold grudges. You don't want a man that's not going to listen to you or give you the opportunity to speak your mind or your heart. You want a man who's going to do one thing. And I don't think I have it on me right now, but I should have. They're going to put the cell phone down, put it away, okay, because those things are good for one thing, causing problems and miscommunication. You can send a text message, but I've said this before. Is it in here? Is it in the inflection of your voice? If you don't know the inflection of your voice and you know that you're texting the right person, if you don't know that, then there's really no point in texting. You know, there's just so many things in today's world, which is so sad because men have become boys. They don't want to step up and be a man. They don't want to do the one thing that scares them the most. And that's face-to-face communication. They want to do the, I'll just send a voicemail. Yeah, that'll take care of it. Or I'll send a message on Facebook Messenger. Yeah, that's good. Come on. When we were in grade school, go way back in the history books, you kids from the 70s, okay? Did we have cell phones that sent text messages, let alone pictures or anything else? Heavens to Betsy's, no. What we had was the old-fashioned, we wrote a message on a piece of paper. Do you love me? Check yes or no. George Strait said it best. But you know, by gosh, take that out of the picture, okay? How old are we? Do not rely on written, text, photos to make messages. Rely on the one thing that is reliable. Person-to-person, face-to-face communication. Just saying. Now, we're going to give A Wedding on Lavender Hill a 7, which beats Cowboy Rebel, but I enjoyed reading A Wedding on Lavender Hill a little bit more. So, be sure you check out this book. You will not regret it. And, good night. See you again soon.